too much, huh?
Hello, and thanks for joining me tonight. My name is Mike Tellerino. I am going to be your host this evening for tonight's podcast. Tonight, I've got some really special people with me tonight. They're just an amazing group of people. They really are. Carrie, why don't you start out by introducing us to everybody?
Absolutely. So we are Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Oh, there's Louise. Welcome, Louise.
our honored guest.
Let's make sure we can hear her.
Louise, you always like to make an entrance. I know.
I do, and that was the grand entrance. So there you go.
Awesome.
And just so people wonder, Carrie, you said I had to retire. I did find where I could change my name, and I had to change it to Wheezy because it was in as Louise. So I had to change it. Had to change my name. So
that's okay. You're here. That's the main thing.
That's it. That's it. This is pretty flat hair at the end of the day.
Okay, then, Louise, why don't you start out by introducing everybody?
Well, hold on just a minute. Let me see.
Who we are. I was just starting, but go ahead if you'd like to.
No, Carrie, you go ahead.
Okay, I'll start, and then you can introduce AWA. So we are Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. We are a national mortgage lender that underwrites our non-for-profit division, which is American Warrior Initiative, that Louise Wheezy Thaxton, as she typed in to avoid technical difficulties, as our CEO of the American Warrior Initiative. She is the brainchild behind how this started. She was one woman who went to our CEO, how many years ago? 8, 10, what are we at? How many years now?
13.
13 years ago, went to our CEO and said, we need to do something to help our veteran community. And I'll let her kind of tell you why. She pitched her idea to our CEO and he said, you do it. This is what we need to do. And it has grown and evolved and developed. And we just are
it definitely has grown. Yeah,
we're humbled and really, really thankful and grateful that Fairway has this, that Louise is leading the charge across the nation, and that we are able to help and serve our veterans and active military in a better manner and give back for everything that they sacrifice for us. So Louise, why don't you talk about AWI generally then?
Well, the American Warrior Initiative was it was literally a grassroots movement. I began working in a military town, sitting across the desk. It was Army. So I was sitting across the desk from soldiers coming back from Iraq at that time. So it's been almost 2 decades of serving active duty. But Iraq and then Afghanistan, and I just thought we have to do more than just a home loan. I started reading books and I just talked and heard their stories. And the more stories I heard, I thought, we have to do something. We have to do something. So I really, because I had done so well in the mortgage industry once I went into the military town, and the reason I did so well is I fell in love with what I do. People would always say, how are you successful? And I go, well, I fell in love with serving those who serve. So when you love what you do, you're always going to be passionate about it. Right. And you'll be better at it than someone else. And so, I became something of an anomaly in the mortgage industry. And I was speaking on the stage before 2,000 people in October of 2011. And when I got off the stage, Jake says, we need to build that, what you said. And I said, what? And he goes, that. And I go, what was that? And he goes, you know what that is? And I go, I don't know what that was. And it's like, he goes, just build it, Wheezy, and we'll fund it. I was like, okay, I have no idea what I'm doing. And, they go, well, what kind of business plan did you have? None. And, what was your vision? I just did the next right thing. That's all I'm going to say is I just did the next right thing. It's easy to do the next right thing when you've got a company like Fairway that's got your back.
It's an amazing company. It really is. I looked into Fairway before we started doing our partnership together, and I was totally impressed with Fairway. Yeah. They're such a great company. They really are.
Yeah.
And what they're doing with AWI, believe me, that's a story in and by itself. Louise, why don't you tell us? So you're the one that came up with this idea.
Well, it was, yes, organic. I thought that we should give back to those who had given so much to us through their service. And it was like, I would say the first years it didn't look the way it does now, but you know what? I don't suspect that 5 years from now it'll look the way it does now. We're growing, we're morphing, we're developing, doing more. In the beginning, we partnered with another nonprofit called the Boo Campaign, and we did 24 mortgage-free homes. We partnered with them, and we gave away 24 mortgage-free homes across the nation.
Wow.
We did, and so that was an amazing
That's
time.
crazy.
Yeah, we did. And that was an amazing time. That opportunity went away. It involved repossessed properties with Chase, and we partnered with this other nonprofit to do that. But that opportunity went away. And so that's when we created our own. That was in 2014. And then I just heard it was in 2014 that I heard a young man that had come back from Iraq, and he said the words, "That dog saved my life." And when I heard him say
Amen.
those words, I did not understand it. Now you're gonna love this, Michael. And I don't know if you and Megan have heard me, or Mike, if you've heard me say this, but I was at an event, and a lot of times you have reporters there, and there was a reporter came up, and he stuck the mic in my face, and he said, "Well, tell me, how do service dogs save lives?" And I'm going, you know what? I can't tell you how electricity works. I just know that you flip the switch and a light comes on. And that's what I see with these dogs. I mean, you put a veteran with a dog, and it's like flipping a switch and the light comes on. But don't ask me. I have no idea of how it works. But I know it works because it's worked hundreds of times.
Louise, I get to see it every day that I'm at the training center, and I see the bond that these veterans form with their service dogs, bar none, hands down. They truly become their lifeline and their best friend. As you know, in the service, when I was in the military, I always had a battle buddy, someone who always had my back.
Right.
Well, when we come home, we didn't have that. We lost that. These service dogs become our battle buddy. They're there for us every step of the way.
So I thought, well, if it saved one life, then we could save two, and then we could save three, and then we could save six, and then 12. And it just.
And where are we at now, Louise? How many dogs has it been?
I was just going to ask that.
378.
Oh my
378. I'm going to do 2 this week. So there'll be one in Arizona, and then there'll be one in Boston, and then I'm coming to Chicago.
Amen.
Right.
We are so looking forward to that event. Really, we are. So then the idea of coming up and providing veterans with service dogs, I mean, that's really a great idea, and a lot of people don't understand how these service dogs really help our veterans, but they truly do. And if one service dog could save a veteran from PTSD, suicide, then we all done our job.
That's right. That's our mission, is to take that suicide number down. As far as I'm concerned, if it's one per day, that's too many.
That's exactly right. I've always said that. We need to do a lot more for our veterans than we're doing now. We really do. So God bless Fairway and AWI for what you're doing.
And let me just say this about the people of Fairway, which I got 3 here, Mike, Megan, and Carrie, and they know this very well. This is a very patriotic company. And when I get up there and I say, we've got a need, they're going to try to fill the need. And I just think that, that's it. You find a need, you fill the need. So it's not just service dogs that we've done, even though that is our main focus. But I mean, I get requests all the time from people just needing a hand up, not a handout, but just a hand up.
Right.
Get in a bad place and just need help in some way. Megan's husband has served. So Megan, you get that of, those veterans that are just in a hard spot.
When they come home, it's just like you said, the battle buddy and the bond that they have with their brothers when they get out is when it really hits them, and that they don't have that camaraderie anymore. And that service dog is somebody that's, never going to leave them. Like, they're always by their side. They're loyal, and that's what they had in their battle buddies. And so I think
Exactly.
that's the
Exactly
friendship.
right.
It's a friendship and a comfort, right? A lot of them have trouble going out in public, or like I know my husband won't sit with his back to a door, right? He's always got to sit in the corner so he can see everything going on. He's constantly scanning. And so having that dog gives them that comfort, I think.
You know, I had a wife of one of our veterans call me and said, Mike, I just want to thank K9. I got my husband back. I said, well, what do you mean? She says, he used to get up in the morning, have a cup of coffee, sit in front of that damn TV, 16 hours a day, didn't talk to me, wouldn't talk to our children, no conversation with our neighbors, nothing. Yeah, she said 3 months after having the service dog, he gets up in the morning, has that same cup of coffee, goes for a 2-mile walk. He's lost 5 pounds. Now he comes in the house and doesn't shut up. Everything is about that dog. Now he's asking her, can we go to Walmart? That's the kind of gift that these service dogs, that's what you're doing. Every time Fairway AWI present a service dog to a veteran, I'm going to tell you, I see it every day. You are changing their life. You threw them a lifeline. You really have. So, for what you're doing for our veterans, I can't thank you enough, because it's just an amazing gift that you're giving these veterans. You got such a caring, patriotic company. I just wish there was more out there. You should set the bar.
Well, I will say this. I wish that I'd be glad to get in a competition to see who could be the most giving company in America. Not the most giving mortgage company, because we are that. We are the most giving mortgage company, bar none, hands down.
Oh, I know.
But I wish that, there'd be some kind of competition for the most giving company, whether you're an electronics company. When you think of the millions of dollars and I want that your listeners to know this, this company is underwriting the cost, but it is the employees who are buying the dogs. They are contributing, like Megan said, and Carrie said, we give through payroll deduction, and it goes into an account that we know that money is going to the nonprofit American Warrior Initiative, and that will fund a need for a local veteran, active duty military, or first responder. So that, it is just everyday people, underwriters, processors, loan officers, branch managers, admin people, sales people, everybody. It might be $25 a month. It might be $250 a month, but the dollars add up to millions over the past few years of all these dogs. 378, with the average cost being $15,000 per dog. You can do the math on that, and that is a lot of money. And that is money that has come from the hands and heart of just good-hearted patriots that want to do something to give back.
I have been to one of your presentations, because you were kind enough to sponsor dogs for K9 and for our veterans. And when I seen the overwhelming response, not from like you or Carrie or other heads up there, but just the people in the audience, they felt like they were such a part of it. They were so elated to be there, to be able to do that. It was just an amazing feeling.
Well, that's part of why Louise and her team are coming in. So she is tireless in her travel across the nation to present to real estate agents and help them understand the veteran and active duty community and their families better, and to bring education to realtors so that they can better serve those potential clients. I mean, I remember years ago when I first started with Fairway, about 8 years ago, Louise said, and it's something that stayed with me. Like I may not come across a veteran directly that I'm helping do a mortgage for, but I might be doing a mortgage for their brother or their sister or their dad or their uncle. In some way, shape, or form, there is less than a 6 degrees of separation to someone that we know that is either active military or family of active military or family of veteran or is a veteran. My uncle, those on this call have heard this story before. He served in Vietnam. many, many demons for that. Had a beautiful, wonderful family, wife, children, grandchildren, a wonderful Rezenchak, huge family that loved him. Took his life decades and decades after his service because of the demons he still carried from Vietnam.
Right.
And I am convinced personally that if he had had a service dog, my Uncle Danny would still be here. So, you know, it's important that not only we as Fairway, but the real estate agent, anyone that's interacting with veterans, active duty, you know, their families, that we understand them better. We understand what we can do for them. We understand what is going to resonate with them or it's not. So that's what Louise and her team, she travels tireless. I mean, Louise, how many weeks a year? Like 50 weeks a year.
Right. I'm telling my husband bye on Wednesday, and I'll see him one day in the next 2 weeks. So
right. So I mean, she's tirelessly traveling to educate realtors, especially right in these events that we're having. Where next week we start off in Crystal Lake on the 12th, and then we move to Oak Brook, and then we go to Megan and her team on the 14th in Plainfield. So she is presenting to realtors to help them be better equipped.
And I think I'll see you there, right?
Yes.
We're excited.
You know, a very sad statistic that most people do not realize, and new statistics came out from the VA. So in 20 years of war, we lost 7,000. I'm going to say 52, but there's more than that. I'm going to just say 7,000, probably 65. 7,065 killed in action in 20 years of war. In the war on terror, 20 years of war, we lost 7,065. In that same 20-year period, we lost 220,000 veterans to suicide.
Exponentially.
220,000 veterans in a 20-year period.
So terrible statistics. Terrible.
And there's a lot of active duty now that are even taking their life. So,
you know,
yeah,
it's an amazing gift what these service dogs can do for a veteran. Like I said, I'm blessed every day. I get to see it firsthand. I get to see the bond that they form, and just, you know, they may come into program a little apprehensive about it. Is this going to work for me? I'm not really sure. I guarantee 60 days after being in that program, oh my God, they're competing with one another. My dog could do this better than your dog. You know, my dog's quicker than your dog. You know, it's such a great feeling to see them form a bond with another veterans who's struggling with the same struggles they're going through.
right.
And Michael, I remember when we first met, when I first sought you out to start this partnership 4 or 5 years ago, whatever it's been now, that we've been specifically working with you for our Chicagoland veterans. One of the things that you told me is that your pups, your dogs, come from rescues too, right? So you're pulling
we get them all from rescues. We do.
So you're pulling dogs that otherwise potentially may not be here, maybe euthanized.
Could have been euthanized.
And you're saving, you know, you're pairing that soul of that dog with that soul of that veteran, and hopefully enhancing and or saving both of their lives. And to me,
I've always asked, who saved who?
Right.
Did the veteran save the dog, or the dog saved the veteran? You know, I mean, you know, it's just, I can't even begin to tell you what these service dogs mean. What Fairway has done for the mortgage, for the veterans in our program that you were gracious enough to sponsor, they still thank me. They really do. I mean,
absolutely. Louise is famous saying, right? Megan, what's Louise's famous saying? Or Mike? What does she always say?
It's a test. It's a test.
She has a lot. She has a lot of quotes. I feel like this is
about the one thing.
Everyone can do. Okay, you're putting me on the spot here.
That's okay. Jake always gets it wrong, man.
Oh my gosh,
Mike, what is it? What is it, Mike?
Nobody can do everything, but everybody can do one thing.
That's right.
Okay,
there you
listen
go.
up. Here's
Mike,
what I said.
Yeah.
Not to do everything, all do one thing. So, but Megan, don't feel bad. Mike, you got it pretty close, and that is the truth. people get to thinking, well, what can I do? Well, you can do a lot if you just do, just pick it up. A forest fire is started with one small match. If you look at the nonprofits across America that have been started by one person who read a book or
Right.
met a person or watched a movie or, something that happened, and then suddenly everything changed because they were on fire and they realized the cost of freedom. They realized it. Karen Vaughn, she lost her son in August of 2011, and she will talk about that. At that time, she didn't think about Veterans Day. She didn't think about Memorial Day. She didn't really. She just was living her life, and her son was serving in the military. But then after she lost her son, everything changed. That she
Oh, yeah.
wanted to talk about the cost of freedom to Americans.
Amen.
Megan, can you share just real quickly? Megan shared something pretty powerful about her husband's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you share that? Would you mind sharing that?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so I mean, it's real life for us every day. I mean, my husband served 10 years and in the 6-year period was deployed 38 months between
Wow.
Iraq and Afghanistan. So it's home for a year, gone for a year, home for a year, gone for a year. I mean, that was our life for 6 years. And he watched the birth of my daughter over a webcam, met her in an airport when she was a baby. And so, but the scarier part is 4 of his buddies were killed in action in his unit, but more have passed away since they've come home. And that's the scary part. I don't have many pictures because it was, 2005, 6, and it's not like everybody had an iPhone at every corner to take pictures. But it's just really scary to think about that more of these guys. And I mean, we just lost one this past summer. Like Carrie mentioned, her uncle, I mean, he had a wife and 3 children and a career. He was a police officer after the military, and he just recently took his life. And so hearing these stories, it is just, you can't help but you have to do something, right? We can't just sit back and not do anything. And every little bit matters and every little bit helps. I think there's a lot of veterans who don't want to reach out for help. And that's the biggest thing too. What I love about the mission is to educate people, because it teaches them how to work with people, how to talk to people. Because you can't talk to a veteran client the same way you talk to another client. Like you can't, like, I forget who just said it recently, but they say I get my husband back. Like there are times, Michael, I think you said it, where he wouldn't leave the house, he wouldn't talk. It's like walking on eggshells. That's my everyday life, and so I relate. And so I think it's just helping people to understand is such a huge impact. So just by attending one of these events, being a sponsor in some way, or donating, or wearing red on Friday, it's that simple. Just bringing awareness is so important, because there's so many people we just don't know. So taking the time to get to know is how you can help. It doesn't have to have a monetary cost to it, but just taking the time, because it's not when they serve that's scary. At least for me, my life is more scary now than when he was active, hands down.
Really?
Hands down. And that's hard to say, or a hard thing to deal with, because it's when they get out that everything starts, right?
Right.
And that's why the service dog is just so important, because it's that loyal friend that's not going to leave their side. It's not going to betray them. They're always going to be there. And that's loyalty.
We K9 built a memorial in Shanahan State Park called the Forgotten Warrior Memorial. It's a beautiful, huge memorial where we have a ceremony twice a year where we add names to the veterans who committed suicide due to their PTSD. And it's so hard to hear these families talk about their son, how he lost his life and all the suffering that he went through, and he wasn't getting the help he needed. And that's why these service dogs, they really become their lifeline. They really do. It gives them someone, like my Samantha, I talk to her more than I talk to anybody. You
Gives
know,
them
I
a
mean,
purpose too. They have someone to take care of again. There's
she's my
something.
girl. Yeah, Samantha's my lady, and it's just what you're doing for our veterans, bar none, hands down. Boy, I wish you could see the end result from when you present that dog to that veteran. I wish you could see the transition that they 2, 3, 4 months down the line, how this has changed their life because it's because of what you did and what Fairway is doing and AWI to change that life for that veteran. So God bless all of you for your group effort.
Well, I will tell you this: that young man that was at the music concert,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and we actually have a good video of him, Michael, and that young man had a powerful message of how that dog had really helped him.
Yes.
I think his message will help us.
Yes.
Oh, it's like I said, I call it the gift that keeps on giving.
Mhm.
I really do because they're just there every day for our veterans and stuff like that. So, what other do you? Getting back to like the mortgage end of it, do you have special programs for veterans and acquiring mortgages? And do you specialize anything?
Megan or Mike, you want to speak to that? I know you both do VA
Yeah.
loans a ton.
Yeah, a ton. I mean, we personally we do American Frontline Rewards, which is we do our branch does a $750 lender credit to not only our veterans but first responders, teachers, educators out there just to give back. It's our way of giving back to help make homeownership more affordable for them. And then, of course, we have military mortgage specialist designation at our company too. So that's something that we've all gone through and that we have the loan officers at our branch go through. So it just gives them some additional training because I think a lot of times I hear with agents, they just don't understand the VA loan. They're afraid of it. Listing agents don't want to accept a VA offer. And there's nothing that lights me up more than debunking myths and educating them on why they
Yes.
should take a VA offer. Like I get fired
Yes.
up. I'm like, let me tell you why you should. And then you break out all the statistics and all the education. But it just turns out that a lot of lenders don't take the time to get to know it. For me, it's
Right.
the best loan out there as it should be, right? It's my favorite. If I could just do VA loans for the rest of my career, that's all I would do.
Amen, Megan. Amen.
I love them. They're so good.
Amen.
So sorry, I get really passionate about it because
No, that's great.
I built my business right next to a military base. So like if I didn't know VA, I wasn't going very far in this business. So
And I think, and Louise, you probably know the statistic, or maybe Mike or Megan better than I, but are we not like top 3 VA lender in the nation? If not, like, yeah, I mean, I think
It's probably in the top 5, but let me just say this about that.
But
we are the
we need to be more
independent. We are the
Independent
top
mortgage, yes.
independent mortgage banker.
right.
Now there
And
are
VA
people who are online lenders, but ours, the majority of our people, are boots on the ground in these communities, like Megan.
Yeah.
She is in communities, and most of our loan officers are in communities. The American Frontline Reward, we teach that class, and that's pretty darn cool that branches can decide, when there is someone who is a frontline hero, and that is active duty military, veterans, or first responders. First responders include law enforcement, that includes EMTs. So many of law enforcement, EMTs, firefighters were also veterans. It's
Right.
almost like it's in their DNA to
It's
put their
the next
life
step.
in between the average civilian's life and danger. They're going to place themselves in between it. So it's just an opportunity. And I would just say to any of your listeners, check with a local Fairway office to see if, who is offering the American Frontline Rewards, because that is $750 in Megan's instant of help with closing costs. Now, her branch just gives to help pay if you're buying a house. So that's pretty cool.
That's amazing what you guys are doing for our veterans. It really is. If people wanted to help support your mission, is there anything outsiders could do outside of Fairway?
Absolutely. You can reach out to us on our website, AmericanWarriorInitiative.com. You can donate. You can also, if you're a veteran and you are looking for help, you can apply for aid. You can apply for assistance or apply on that. When someone applies, then what we try to do is start looking for the money. I mean, there may not be money sitting there, but if someone comes up and applies, then we're going to try to find money and get people to donate, and we raise the money. So, yes, they can reach out to us on our website, and of course, to any of these good people at Fairway. This is just the most amazing company to have employees support the nonprofit.
That's great. Now tell us about where are these 3 upcoming events going to be held? Now, are they open to the public or strictly for Fairway?
The public is more than welcome. They are geared towards real estate agents, but we would love to have anyone in attendance that would like to be there and to learn more about how to help and serve the veteran and active duty population even more. So, yeah.
Could agents from other real estate companies come there? And
we have agent partners from all sorts of real estate companies that join us, right? So, yes.
That's great.
So Mike is kicking off. Mike, you want to talk about your event real quick since you're the kickoff on the 12th?
We start on the 12th, the Tuesday in Crystal Lake, the Holiday Inn in Crystal Lake. And we'd love to have as many agents there as possible.
And then we move to Oak Brook at Pinstripes in Oak Brook on the 13th. Each event is from 9 a.m. in the morning until about 12:30 in the afternoon. And then Megan, you're...
Yep, and we're ending it Thursday, November 14th in Plainfield at Warehouse 109. So if you're a veteran, there's a link on our social media. You can sign up to attend the event for free and just join us to listen. Or I encourage any business owner to attend any one of these events because you're going to learn how to serve veteran clients across all industries too, not just real estate. So I have local businesses from my Chamber of Commerce coming just to help learn how to serve our veterans. I think it's geared towards real estate, but everything you learn can be applied. And if anything, it's just the experience of it all is just so incredible. It's like, you can't put it into words. You have to be there. You got to be there.
What drives?
Let's give a shout out to Jason Redmond. Jason Redmond.
Yes, you got to hear him speak.
Oh, let me tell you something. I've had the opportunity to see him a number of times, and every time I see him, I still go, wow. He's such an exceptional speaker, such a great motivator. Yes. I mean, just an amazing man. He really. I bought his book.
Oh, go ahead. Did you get his book?
I bought his book.
So I think he's speaking on the what it means to be an American this time, right, Louise?
I think so. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be powerful. Whatever speech he
delivers,
he's
phenomenal. He really is.
Well, he gets it, right? He served and was wounded overseas, and like he was in the thick of it, and so he understands and he can explain it from a level that none of us can understand.
He's a badass veteran.
He's a badass.
He is a badass veteran.
He earned everything.
Yeah, he is. I couldn't think of a better way to say it. I'm sorry, but it's the first thing that came to my mind. He's just
how many surgeries on his face? I mean, it was crazy.
No,
and he's been through hell and back.
Literally.
Yeah, he really had.
And what he put on his hospital door about like once the shock wore off, he's like, no, don't come in here feeling sorry for me because I'm not feeling sorry for myself. I'm going to get back up and I'm going to back after it. And I'm going to go back out there and, be even a better man and veteran from here. So.
An inspirational and motivational speaker, bar none, hands down. Great choice for your benefits. That's all I could say. He gives that shock and awe feeling. Yeah, it's great.
Good man.
He's get a signed copy of his book too, which is also pretty amazing. So
yes. Is there anything else you'd like to get out tonight,
Louise?
Just come out and join us. I mean, you will have a wonderful time just with other patients.
Well, I know 3 veterans that are so looking forward, and they don't even know why they're going to be there, but they're
Hopefully
just
they're
like,
not listening.
oh God, no, no.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I always say that 99.9% of Americans want to do something to give back. They're just unsure of what to say or how to give back. If you
Right.
come to one of these events, we're going to show you how you can help.
Again, my hat's off to Fairway and AWI and your entire team, just dedicated to what you're doing to help our veterans. And again, I just wish there was more organizations like yours out there doing what they could for our veterans, because I just don't think we're doing. But fortunately, there's organizations like yours, AWI, Fairway, that are doing what they're doing to help our veterans, because you are definitely changing their life for the best. Believe me.
Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you, Michael.
We're so thankful for our partnership with you here locally. It's been an absolute pleasure and just such an honor to help you and Canines for Veterans and the veterans that you are striving to help every day too. So it's our pleasure as well.
I working with Fairway is an honor on my end as well. Believe me, you're just a great organization, and the dedication that you all have. I think that's what impresses me the most, because it's all coming from your heart. It's not. This isn't just a thing you're doing for whatever reasons. You're doing it. I mean, you have so much compassion for our veterans and what you're doing. It's just an amazing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
for your support.
Yes.
Well, I will look forward to seeing each and every one of you, hopefully,
You will.
next
Yes.
the end of this month. So God bless you, and thank you for supporting Canine and our veterans. It means so much to us and our veterans. It really does.
And
We
thank you,
couldn't-
Michael, for your
Yes, thank
service
you.
and for what
Well-
you're doing to help veterans, because you're working on it every day and you're
Yeah.
making a difference in the lives of so many people.
Mhm.
Gotta love our veterans, though. I'll tell you that they gave it all for us. They really have. The least we could do for them. But again, thank you, Louise. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, everyone, for just doing what you're doing for our veterans. What a great organization, really.
Thank you,
More to
Michael.
come.
Thanks for
More to
inviting me.
come.
Thank
See
you.
you
God
next
bless you guys. God bless you.